What do you get for paying extra to get a window seat? A miniature cityscape, the kind of aesthetic photo that gets thousands of likes. And those mysterious little lights twinkling against the dark night sky if you're flying late at night. Most of us see the red or green light through the window and think they're simply some kind of signaling device. But they are actually a friend that helps pilots understand movement in the sky. However, they are designated only in red and blue. Why is that? In contrast to the serious function of the green and red lights, those lights look harmless and calm. However, outside that window, the sky is almost completely dark. Like driving on a country road with no streetlights, where headlights are the only visible reference. At high altitude, pilots cannot see other airplanes clearly, like drivers see cars on a highway. So a tiny moving light may be the only warning sign. In the early days of aviation, pilots sometimes came dangerously close to each other because they simply could not see another airplane in time. As air travel increased in the 1920s and 1930s, more aircraft began flying at night, and the risk of mid-air collisions became a serious concern. Engineers realized airplanes needed a visual system, so pilots could understand direction and position from far away, just like drivers read traffic lights. That is why every airplane in the world today uses the same colors and lighting positions on the wings and tail. This was not a design choice for appearance, but a safety system built around human vision and human limitations. Red and green were chosen for a very specific reason. But that reason begins with a bigger problem, because humans do not see well in darkness. To understand these lights, we first need to understand why flying at night is so difficult. The main reason night flying is difficult is not the airplane or the weather, but the human eye, which is not designed to see colors clearly in low light. Inside the eye, there are two types of cells called cones and rods, and each type works differently depending on how bright the environment is. Cones help us see color and detail during the day, while rods help us see shapes and movement at night, but they do not detect color well. Because of this, at night humans actually see movement and light better than color or detail, which changes how pilots interpret what they see. When a pilot looks into a dark sky, a small light becomes more important than the airplane itself, because the airplane body may be invisible. The brain also struggles to judge distance in darkness, so a light can look closer, farther, or even stationary when it is actually moving. This creates visual illusions, and pilots are trained to recognize them, because these illusions have caused accidents in aviation history. One illusion is called autokinesis, where a small light in darkness appears to move even when it is not moving. Another illusion is the false horizon, where pilots mistake city lights or stars for the horizon and lose orientation. A very dangerous illusion called the black hole illusion happens during night landings when there are no lights around the runway.
Without any visual reference, even seasoned pilots can be disoriented within seconds.
Several aviation accident reports, including FAA training materials, describe crashes where pilots descended too early because of this illusion.
You can be completely discombobulated, if that's a word. You can be completely disoriented.
Because of these problems, aviation lighting systems were designed not only for visibility, but also for human psychology and night vision behavior. Human eyes are more sensitive to green light in low light conditions, while red light does not destroy night vision as much as white light. That is why airplane cockpits often use red lighting, because pilots can still see instruments without losing their ability to see outside. This is also one reason aviation lighting systems use red and green, since those colors work well with human night vision. Long before airplanes existed, humans already had a system of lights to avoid collisions in the dark. Long before airplanes filled the sky, ships were already traveling across oceans at night, and collisions between ships were a serious problem in the 1800s. In 1848, several major ship collisions in the English Channel pushed maritime authorities to create standardized navigation lights for ships. By the 1860s, international maritime rules required ships to use a red light on the left side, a green light on the right side, and a white light at the back. This system allowed ships to understand direction and movement at night without communication, and it significantly reduced collisions at sea. When airplanes became common in the early 20th century, aviation engineers realized that the sky had the same problem as the ocean. One of the earliest recorded mid-air collisions occurred in 1922 over Picardy, France, when two airplanes collided due to poor visibility and lack of clear signals. As aviation traffic increased, authorities began adopting maritime navigation lighting rules for aircraft to improve night visibility and direction recognition. Organizations such as ICAO and later the FAA standardized these lighting rules, so every airplane in every country would use the same system. When airplanes adopted this system, the sky became a place where pilots could read lights like a language. The navigation lights on airplanes follow a simple rule, where the red light is on the left wing and the green light is on the right wing. A white light is placed on the tail, and each light covers a specific viewing angle so other pilots can determine direction from almost any position. The red and green lights each cover about 110 degrees, while the white tail light covers about 140 degrees behind the aircraft. If a pilot sees both red and green lights, that usually means the other airplane is coming directly toward them from the front. If only a red light is visible, the other aircraft is moving from right to left. And if only green is visible, it is moving from left to right. If a pilot sees only a white light, that usually means the aircraft is moving away in the same direction ahead. In addition to navigation lights, airplanes also use strobe lights, landing lights, and taxi lights, each serving a different purpose during flight operations. Together, these lighting systems make aircraft visible and help pilots understand situations quickly and safely. And this language of lights does not stop in the sky. It continues on the ground at every airport. Airports use lighting systems that work like a visual map, guiding pilots during taxi, approach, and landing, especially during night or bad weather. Runway edge lights are white, so pilots can see the sides of the runway, while the end of the runway is marked with red lights. The threshold of the runway is marked with green lights, showing the beginning of the safe landing area for approaching aircraft. Taxiways are marked with blue lights, so pilots can follow the correct path when moving between the runway and terminal areas. Pilots do not just land by looking at the runway surface, but by reading this entire system of lights, like following a path in the dark. The lights on airplane wings are not there to make airplanes look beautiful. They exist because human eyes are imperfect, the night sky is dangerous, and history taught us that small lights can save lives. The next time you sit by the window on a night flight and see those small red and green lights, you may see them differently and understand that they are an essential language in the sky. One simple fact at a time, that's how we understand the world. Like, subscribe to Simple Why, and tell us your question below. Your why could be our next video.